Beings above you are what we think of as angels, but the beings below you are the creatures around you in the world, the animals. Now, when you think how, or as we understand it, we are so blessed by the angels and their ministry to us, how much more should we be likewise such a blessing to those creatures below us that suffer what we suffer in this universe of uncertainty, but without the ability to speak it out and plead for their case and ask us for help. And perhaps without, well, I gather, the understanding that we might have. For instance, the incredible consolation of knowing God. How much then it calls on us to bless them and care for them, be kind, love on them. You know, I've not experienced it, but you know, if you have a young girl and she has her horse, and the horse is an incredibly good creature to her, or the boy with his dog. His dog is his best friend. Do you see we should embrace these little ones beneath us with love and care, as our children can do, and perhaps we have done as a child? I confront some kids playfully sometimes and say, "Oh, goodness, you eat meat? Surely you wouldn't eat your friends." And I'm teasing them, but I'm also appealing to their goodness and their kindness and their love of animals. We should be appalled at our unkindness to the animal world. Utterly appalled. You would think it's madness that a vegetarian come vegan come fruitarian should be in New Zealand, in the Waikato of all places, heart of the livestock industry. Do you see they call it stock? They don't even want to recognize them as creatures, as sentient beings. They're just stock, part of a productive earning process. It's frightening, our lack of care for these creatures. We were first in New Zealand driving in the country, and there's this milking line of cows crossing the road in front of us. And as we approach, I think, oh, well, I'm going to be waiting here for a long time. I can see the endless line of cows walking to or from milking, I don't know. And as I came near and about to stop, the cow at the gate, at the head of the line, well, she was in the middle of the line, of course, she was just crossing the road. She stops at the gate, which stops all the cows behind her, and she waits for me to pass. There's no farmer around, there's no milking farm man around. The cow just stops. She knows the car needs to pass, and she lets me pass. I sort of wave a thanks to her and pass. And I see behind me, she now walks across the road, and the line continues moving. I found that profound. You may explain it in some other way, but I found it absolutely beautifully profound and wonderful. Okay, already a vegetarian, vegan, but whatever, I mean, it's not my religion, it's just my concern for how we treat these creatures. How could we be so unloving? How could we be so appalling in our lack of care? We, who are masters of the earth, not exercising compassion on that which is less than us. Where would we be if God did the same thing? We would have nothing. I plead their case. I, Marshall, plead their case. Please hear me for their sake. Please hear me. The suffering that we bring on these creatures is legion. You don't need to be part of it. You can minimize it. Thank you, Dad. I cannot tell you how unhappy it makes me to think of the way we treat animals in this world and the way they have been treated. It's not that I love man the less, and it's not that I don't care for all of mankind. It's that it's greater than that, and I care for the animals. I don't know what to say. I just don't know what to say. Heavenly Father, I give it to you. I give it to you in trust, and I thank you for it. I thank you for their suffering. In trust, in faith to you, I thank you for their suffering. I thank you that we have caused it. All of us, in being part of this civilization, contribute to it. But I thank you more, Father, that you love them, that you made every one of them, that you do care. And I'm going to trust that somehow you don't just rescue me and all mankind, but all creatures, in fact all that you have made, because you are my God, my Dad, and my Dad can do anything. I go further than that. He can do everything. He's my Dad. So I'm going to trust God for it. And because I trust God for it, I can thank him for this that I'm confronted with. Not knowing, not understanding, but trusting. I do pray for them as well, of course, but he knows all about that. And if I care for them, oh my goodness, how much more does he care for them? Let's be reasonable. He doesn't need my prompting. But perhaps he's happy to know I'm of the same opinion as him. Yes, okay, Marshall. Thank you, card. Oh, goodness, I can't go there, can I? I trust it to you, Lord. May I, though, Father, I can't not contribute at all to their suffering, I know. Goodness, I'm living in a society that feeds off their suffering, literally and figuratively too. But I can minimize what I contribute to their suffering. I mean, I hadn't eaten meat since I was 24. My wife said we should be vegan at something like 29. I said, that's a good idea, right, though? We'd only known one vegan, and we thought he was a complete nutter. Even though we were vegetarian, we just thought, well, my goodness, that's extreme. You can't live like that. But you can. I'm not a perfect vegan. I mean, when I'm out, I'll have cheese if it's in it, or, I won't sit down to a boiled egg or something, but if egg's in the cake, I don't say no. It's not my religion, it's not my obsession. It's just my concern. At home, well, I can be virtually vegetarian. I keep cheese and butter in because of my daughter. She's just veggie. I don't put it on her. My two sons are strictly vegan. I think they're disappointed in my weakness in being vegan. I'm impressed with them. One's Christian, one isn't. Both fanatically vegan. I can offer a piece of chocolate by mistake to my younger son. He says, I'm vegan, Dad. Oh, yes, sorry. I received this rebuke. And I love him for it. And my older son has a handicapped wife, handicapped daughter, severe handicapped daughter. No other kids. His Christians was still in the same church as he was as a child, had him in. And only left that a couple of years ago for the other church in the town, which I brought him up in. He's still there. Except he's moved from the lowest of housing to the best on the seafront. Good on him. In England. Lovely chap. An absolute angel. Not conventional, of course. How could he be conventional with me as his dad? Well, his earthly dad, anyway. Bless him. Where was I? Let me pause a sec. I've said it before and I'll say it again. One person can make a great deal of difference. How many creatures have I not eaten since I was 24? How many people have I influenced? A lot. I collected for an animal welfare group outside of supermarkets. I gave it roughly a day and a half a week for about 3 years. I collected over 100,000. Never asked people to give, just sat there. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. Didn't use any skills, none of my academic ability or anything like that. Well, I suppose you could say I used my relational skills. I just was available for people and smiled at them if they were, caught my attention, if I caught theirs. Talked to them, listened. Even if they were farmers, they knew I was genuine and I knew they were genuine. One or two exceptions we had a problem with, but very, 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 very few. Had some good talks. You meet all the angels when you're collecting for animal welfare. Only the angels talk to you. The rest out past, they just don't see you. You don't exist. But if they do see you, it's because that's where their heart is. And they come and bless you by recognizing that you're doing something they value. I just love them. I don't care if they're Christian or anything else. I just love on them for their kindness. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Let me pause. You're one person. I was so impressed by Jordan Peterson's logic. He said, look, in the course of a lifetime, you affect fairly seriously over 1,000 people, at least. He's affected far more, of course, but us lesser mortals, and they in their turn will affect 1,000 people. So you're only one step away from affecting 1 million people. Don't underestimate the significance that you are, that one person is, in affecting society. This is far more effective than your vote, Your vote almost never counts. I mean, it's not significant. It didn't make any difference to the outcome. But your presence, oh my goodness, it's absolutely cardinal with your kids and major with your partner. I might have to put an S on the end of that, especially if you look at my record. But the people you know and been in fellowship with too, all the people you influence, all the people you've helped, all the people that think well of you, but even those that don't, majorly influenced by having met you. Yeah, some of them, at least. Isn't it wonderful? You count. More importantly, you count with God. He loves you. It actually says, as of an only son. As if Jesus were the only son. And what the authorities couldn't tackle and handle and accept was that God has so many sons. Let's not be sexist about this. God has so many children. In my understanding, my trust, all are his children. Why would he make something and not care for it? And who can stop God succeeding in bringing all to completeness and perfection and the loveliness that he is? Nothing can stop him. He's God. He's my God. Your God. Our God. Love you, Dad. Thank you, Dad.